All right, Taurus, thanks for tuning in. My name is Athen. This is your July 2014 horoscope. So I'm going to break this up into 4 parts. First, I want to talk about yourself this month, and I'm going to talk about work, and I'm going to talk about relationships and spirituality. I'm going to divide it up this way, put it in chunks. I think it might be a little bit more easier to work with. So let's start with the self. So we're going to talk about the 1st, 5th, and 9th houses for you this month, which are associated with the self. Now, the 1st house, the ruler is Venus. Your ruler is Venus, and Venus will be in your 1st house this month. So, aside from feeling pretty good, Venus in the 1st house is about feeling pretty good. Aside from that, this month will be a lot to do with initiating and starting things, starting projects, getting the courage to start moving and moving forward. Venus was in your 12th house last month in June. So, that was a reflective time. So taking everything you've gathered from that reflective period and now initiating and starting new projects. And do remember while doing this to remain present and to, you are a co-creator with Source, and maintain balance in all of this. Sometimes we can charge forward too hard and create disharmony in our life. So create harmony with those around you and balance with yourself. Now on the 13th, Venus will go into your 2nd house. So at this point, for the 2nd half of the month, will be about enjoying different aspects of yourself. So take care of yourself, connect to nature, connect to your senses. All of this stuff will certainly give you a boost of energy. Now, let's talk about your 5th house, self-expression. Your ruler, Mercury, of that 5th house, will be going direct on the 1st. So, reflective period last month about your self-expression, how you enjoy your self-expression, what gives you pleasure in regards to that. And then in this month, up until the 28th, will be about putting that into action. So, actually expressing yourself and finding the beauty and enjoyment about that, and expressing what's important to you, expressing your values. Now on the 28th, Mercury will then go into your 3rd house, so from that point onward into August will be about sharing more of your self-expression, communicating and teaching and that sort of thing. Now let's talk about your higher guidance, which is your 9th house. Ruled by Saturn. Saturn is in your 6th house, going direct this month on the 20th. So up until the 20th, reflecting on improving your connection to Source, your higher guidance, connecting to your higher self, improving this, realizing that perhaps you have to eat right in order to maintain that higher guidance, or do exercise, and you have to take care of your body and your health and your routine in order to maintain that connection. You'll be reflecting on this up until the 20th, and on the 20th, when Saturn goes station direct, then it'll be really about putting that into action again and getting that ball rolling in regards to that improvement. And a lot of this is associated with your work too, which I'll get into in a minute. So yeah, let's talk about that. So let's talk about your work this month. Now we're going to talk about your 2nd house of resources, your 6th house of your skills and work, and your 10th house of service and contribution. So we'll start with resources this month, finances and such. Your ruler Mercury of that 2nd house, like I said, going direct on the 1st. So enjoying these resources. Reflection last month about your resources, perhaps your finances, reworking things. Do you have enough to live the kind of lifestyle that you want, that you enjoy? And what kind of resources do you have available to you, and what do you value? All these things that you're reflecting on, it's now time to put into action this month. And enjoying it. It's just all about enjoying those resources. Perhaps some of you got some new resources to work with, whatever it is, or a new schedule, a new, what do you call it, a budget or something like that. And but enjoying it nonetheless, and doing the things that that give you pleasure, and using those resources. So spending, but not too much, and of course, keeping it balanced. Now on the 28th, like I said, Mercury will be going into your 3rd house. So at this point, it'll be about sharing resources. Really give. And I think from the 28th onward, you'll find that the more you give, the more you actually receive in regards to that. So let's talk about your skills and your work this month. Venus, your ruler of your 6th house, will be in that 1st house. So initiating new projects will be key for you this month in particular. So sharpen those skills, take care of that health, get into that routine. All of this you'll find motivating and very enjoyable. And it'll all contribute towards your work too. And from the 13th onward, Venus will then go into your 2nd house, so enjoying your work. Really the emphasis on enjoyment of what you're doing in regards to your skills and talents and what you're putting into. It's the day-to-day sort of activity. So enjoy the 2nd half of the month, the 1st half. Really build up some courage to get things started and initiated, because Venus was in that 12th house, like I said. Now, in regards to your contribution and service, Saturn rules that 10th house of yours. So this month will be about improving your contribution, your service. So perhaps you've been reflecting on your work, on your career, and on the 20th it'll be a time to really start to put in a lot of these ideas into action. Now let's talk about relationships this month. We'll start with your 3rd house of communication, then we'll talk about 7th house of relationships, and then 11th house of groups and the collective. So starting with communication and relationships, your moon rules that 3rd house, and we have a full moon on the 12th this month, so it's happening in your 8th house, okay? So releasing, okay? First half of the month, really releasing attachments, releasing old communication habits that aren't working for you, reflecting on your communication skills. All of this will contribute to positive momentum in your relationships. Okay, and then on the 26th, we're going to have a new moon in that 3rd house. Okay, so something new in regards to how you communicate and how you share with others, and how those in your life contribute to your overall life, and what role they play, and how you can give more, how you can be open to receiving more, and such. But in either case, it'll be something new, and it's always nice to have that new moon in that 3rd house of communication. Now let's talk about relationships in general. Mars rules that 7th house of yours, so Mars will be in that 5th house up until the 13th. So it'll be about that self-expression that we talked about. Really express yourself. Say what's on your mind. Of course, with compassion and with an open heart. But the more you express yourself, I think the more you'll find stronger bonds within your relationships. And I think you'll find that improving your relationships as well, especially from the 13th onward, when Mars goes into your 6th house of improvement. So first half, enjoying relationships, expressing yourself, having fun. 5th house is about enjoyment. Then the 2nd half, improving, refining, taking care of the loose ends in regards to those relationships. Now let's talk about groups and the collective. Jupiter rules that 11th house, and he is in your 3rd house. So sharing within groups. I think, and Jupiter recently went in here for you, so perhaps you started to get involved with more group activities or putting yourself out there more. Jupiter's a very expansive planet, so it's really about expanding your group sphere. Perhaps it's online, perhaps it's in person through classes, or humanitarian type of group-oriented things, or yoga class, or whatever that is. But in either case, continue to share, continue to be open to giving and receiving in your groups, and I think through that you'll build some strong relationships this month. All right, so let's talk about spirituality. Spirituality will be including your 4th house of your feelings, your 8th house of releasing those attachments, and the 12th house of surrendering and going into the void. Okay, so in regards to your feelings, the Sun rules your 4th house, so we're talking about enjoying your feelings this month. The Sun will be in that 2nd house up until the 16th. Connect to your feelings. this whole month really is about just enjoying your senses. I think this would be a great month to connect into nature. And I think if you do connect to nature, if you do get the sun, you do take that time to eat a good meal, enjoy life, through that you'll be connecting to your feelings more, okay? So take that reflective time, take that time out, because it is going to be a busy month for you, I think, with a lot of this first house activity, but take the time to enjoy yourself, and I think you'll find a very strong balance, and I think they'll be really working with each other in regards to that. Then on the 16th, communicate. Really that emphasis on that communication, second half of the month. Start sharing and sharing your feelings in particular. And I think through that, again, you'll find that spiritual awakening. Now let's talk about Jupiter. Jupiter is transiting your third house, like we mentioned, in that eighth, well, he's the ruler of your eighth house. So in this case, releasing your communications, okay? You know, recently Jupiter has gone into that third house, so there's a lot of this, perhaps, attachments building in regards to how you're communicating, and then perhaps you're noticing that there's blocks, and maybe you're holding on too tight to the way that you are sharing information or communicating. So release yourself from that, okay? Release those attachments, and then not only will your communications improve, but your overall spiritual well-being will improve as well. Now let's talk about the 12th house. This is presence and universal love. It's also about going into the void. Mars rules that 12th house of yours. He's in that 5th house, okay, of self-expression. So again, expressing yourself this month, particularly up until the 13th, it's almost like you're expressing your spirituality. What's important to you spiritually? Who are you on a spiritual level? All of this will heighten your intuition and other 12th house sort of intuitive, behind the scenes, dream space, reflective, spiritual sort of personality traits. In this case, it really is about personality, that spiritual personality coming out in that sense of intuition developing. Now, on the 13th, Mars will go into that 6th house of self-improvement. So from the 13th onward, spirituality will take a much more day-to-day refinement. It's going to be about really eating right, eating healthy, taking care of your body and such. Through that, you'll notice your spirituality improves. I mean, for example, monks, it takes tremendous discipline to meditate all day, for example, or to improve your spirituality. So keeping that in mind will certainly improve your spirit. All right, Taurus, so that concludes this July horoscope. Right now I'm offering readings for only $45, so I'm going to be doing a lot of readings this month and next month. So if you're interested in that, please get in touch. I'll put a link down below. And have a great month. If you have any questions, please get in touch. All right, Taurus, take care.